Hi, greetings from London. I'm Lynne Seaman, and I want to thank all of you for coming and watching this presentation. Also, I'd like to thank Martha and Lucy and all the people at SAQA. I've been a member of SAQA since 2000. I am a former French teacher, but that was before I discovered art quilts in 1998. The theme of all my work is color. I love bright colors, and they are the starting point for all of my work. Much of my work is inspired by the natural world, and usually I make abstract landscapes. I strive to bring a sense of joy, beauty, and tranquility to all of my quilts. You can find my quilts on my website, fabricoflife.co.uk. Next, please. This is my Ebb and Flow quilt, A Year in the Forest, part of my forest series. As in most of my work, the background is a single piece of hand-dyed fabric. The trees and leaves are fused onto the background after quilting the lines representing the trees. The kanji characters I wrote represent the 4 seasons, beginning at the top with spring. To me, trees are a metaphor for life, both human and in the natural world. I'm constantly fascinated by the colors of the changing seasons. The ebb and flow of the seasons give a reassuring continuity. Next, please. This is the Forest Autumn, made in 2020 as part of my forest series. Autumn is my favorite season, with the crisp days and cool nights and the ephemeral splendor of color everywhere. This quilt and 4 others of mine have been acquired by the International Quilt Museum, part of the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, which has the largest museum collection of quilts in the world. Next, please. This is Forest Sunrise. This quilt was made for the Invitational Exhibition 75, a celebration of new work in fiber at the Dairy Art Center in Boulder, Colorado in 2017. My trees have now turned into sticks, abstracting the form of the trees. Next, please. This is Jacaranda, Memories of Northern Queensland. I made it in 2019, inspired by a trip to Australia 2 years previously. We spent a week in Port Douglas, Northern Queensland, seeing the Great Barrier Reef, the rainforest, and the jacaranda trees which were blooming there. Next, please. This is River Forest, 2019. This was a commission similar to Forest Sunrise, but with the sparkling, stitched river running through it. Next, please. This is Purple Mountains Majesty, inspired by Front Range of the Rocky Mountains in Colorado. As I traveled from London heading west, I followed the sun all the way to Colorado, making it, for me, a 31-hour day. The quilt is from a photograph I took on that first evening in Boulder, Colorado. Next. This is Good Vibrations #2, made in 2020 as part of my Isolation Art series and a Circles series, inspired by a visit to Paris, where I saw very large circle paintings by Sonia and Robert Delaunay. Each circle quilt has to be drawn out full size. This one is 30 by 36, and then the pieces have to be traced onto parchment paper before ironing the fabric onto fusible web, then cutting out the circle and placing it on the background of the quilt, which is on my design wall. It's a very complicated technique. Next, please. This is Good Vibrations #5. This is a work in progress. I kind of hesitated on showing this because it's not completely finished. The pieces are all there, but I haven't added the stitching yet. I wanted to surprise viewers by doing something completely out of my comfort zone, which is brightly colored pieces. So I decided to make a quilt with only black and white. But as I was making it, I succumbed to the beauty of color and I added a few pieces of red. Next, please. Lines. This was made in 2020 as part of my Isolation Art series. Wanting to simplify my quilts, I decided that the combination of colors and stitch would be the main focus of this series of quilts based on straight lines. Next, please. In my home studio, I have a large IKEA wardrobe with drawers. Color is the basis of all of my work. This drawer holds the fabric I used in almost every one of my quilts. It's hand-dyed cotton by Heidi Stoll-Weber, a German master dyer and quilt artist. Next. My home studio is in a former bedroom in my house in London. I have a beautiful view of my back garden or backyard while I'm sewing. The quilt that's getting ready to be sewn is called Seed Pod. Next. This is my main work table, which is 2 meters by 1 meter. Work on the wall above my collection of Mexican wooden folk art animals is called Imposidillo and was in a juried memorial exhibition for Yvonne Porcella called Live Your Brightest Life. Pieces from other artists are also displayed. Next. My studio work table and design wall. On the design wall is the newest of pieces in my Lines series. The working title is Sea and Sky. Next, please. The garden studio is a purpose-built building at the end of my back garden where I use wet media.